everyone, Simsy Claire here and welcome back. So today we are building in the neighborhood of Grimm's Quarry here in Evergreen Harbor. Now this is the last neighborhood for me to build in. So I think after I publish this I'm going to take a break just to not overload you guys with Sims 4 eco lifestyle builds, particularly since that's the pack that my Let's Play is based off of. So we're still going to get a whole lot of this pack on my channel just from the Let's Play, so I think I'm going to cool it on the builds after I get out one per neighborhood. And then here you see I'm fiddling with the roof and the foundation. I watched this Kate Emerald video, I'll link it in the description down below, of how to build houses with two different foundation heights, because when I first pictured this house I really wanted it to be two different foundation heights, but it takes so long for it to get there, and I was having an issue getting the trick to work with that particular roofing, so I do end up changing it for this one, and I think it ends up working out in the end. I think I make the house look rather okay. It is really narrow though, and so you will see I have a bit of an issue with floor planning and room planning just because of how narrow this house ends up being, but I do end up really liking it. And then you can see I finally got to use the solar panel roofing here, so for every single build I've had with this pack, I've wanted to use it, but because I've been doing flat roofs, I haven't been able to because it wasn't letting me use that particular swatch on the roofs for some reason. So I was really happy that I did end up changing it so that I could use it here, because I think it looks more modern than some of the other ones that we have, and then it also works because now I don't have to find a place to put solar panels. And I definitely wanted to make sure that every build that I used with this pack had that equipment on it, particularly since I was building it in this world, because the purpose of this world is to make it more eco-friendly, or if you so choose, make it more non-eco-friendly, which is totally okay too. I might end up doing that in my own time, but I wanted to start by making it more green and eco-friendly and modern, so I'm happy that I was able to do that. And then here you see I'm messing with the windows. And I don't end up using windows from this pack. I use the Machino industrial looking ones. And I don't know what it is. I just, for some reason, and maybe it was the wall height, you saw me just change it there, but I could not get any of the windows from this pack to work except for the one I used right next to the front door. So I do apologize that I'm using a different pack's windows, but I think that they just look better on this build. And then here you see I'm going around placing some base game hedges around. That's pretty much the majority of what the landscaping is for this build. I really wanted to keep it sleek and clean and modern, so I didn't want to mess it up or clutter it with too many different flowers. And then here you see I'm messing with the roof again. I wanted there to be a skylight. I knew that going into this, but I had forgotten to build it into the roof. And then I had to cut out a lot more of the roofing there just because of the different foundation heights made it really hard to do what I was trying to do, so it ended up taking a lot longer than I had anticipated it to do. And then here you see I'm placing one of these university windows here. Now that was because I had initially intended that to be the kitchen area, and I was going to place the counters right below that, but with the floor planning, the way I have it worked out, that just wasn't going to happen because it would have basically cut out all of the space for a living room. And this is a family house. It's 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, so I definitely wanted to make sure that there was a space for a decent living area. And then here I am, I'm going through, I'm about to go grab some of the debug plants, and I delete most of the ones that I grab out for this particular section because what I wanted to do in my head wasn't quite translating well once it went into the game. What I'd wanted to do was kind of merge these plants in with the hedges that I had used on the side there to make it look like the hedges had flowers, but the plants just weren't working. Even though I sized them down and I raised them up, they were still sticking out on the sides. You can see it here. So I end up just leaving it as the hedges with those lavenders on the sides. And then there you saw me zoom out because I'm trying to figure out what plants are around in this world so I can start doing some of my landscaping. And I grab out some of these trees. You can't see them here, but when I zoomed out in the far right corner, the little plot of land next to us that I think becomes a park does have a couple of these trees growing in it, so I wanted to make sure I used them, particularly since those are also the only trees that we got with this pack. And then here you see I'm building a pathway to the front door. I wanted to try something different because every build I've had on this channel so far, the pathway has been built with terrain paint, And I usually use terrain paint, so when I saw these pavers, I was like, you know, it would be really cool and it would match the whole modern thing if I used these pavers as the walkway instead. And then after I watched this, I watched Simlissy's most recent video, and she did something very similar. She didn't use these same pavers though, but she basically used them as her patio area, and her sim couldn't walk on them, so she had to change what pavers she ended up using. So of course I will playtest this before I put it up on the gallery, so that way I know if it works or not, and if the pavers end up not working, like your sim can't get through them, I'll just delete them and build a path out of terrain paint. And then here I am, I just placed the mailbox, and then I'm going through and decorating the area around the mailbox. I think these are base game flowers that I have here, and then I grab out some of the grass that we had gotten in this pack just to make it look a bit more lush. And then I'm also adding some of that grass over here in this corner, and then I'm going to add another one of those lavender plants, I think, so that way it will kind of be cohesive with the side of the house that I already built. And then here I'm going in with some more terrain paint, and I end up terrain painting a majority of this yard because I didn't like these pebble textures that we had, and I don't understand why we have them, because they're not garbage. Like I could almost see it if they were like a type of garbage that was supposed to be like all over the yard, but they're not. They're rocks, so I don't know where exactly they were supposed to come from. So I do end up just covering up all of it with some terrain paint just so the yard is more even. And then I have to go back in and fix some of the terrain paint that I had already done because I covered it up with the green. And then here you see I skipped over the floor plan. I was having a real big issue because of how narrow this house is. A lot of the rooms weren't quite fitting properly, and I had to extend the house a little bit in order to get some things to work. So I do apologize if you wanted to see the floor planning, but it's very basic. I have 2 bedrooms on the upstairs, and then the master bedroom is down here, and then this area is going to be the living, kitchen, and dining, all open concept and all in this one space. Now you see here that the lighting is a little different in this room. That is because there's technically no ceiling. Since the foundations are on different levels, you can't have a closed off room. So it looks a little weird, but considering there's a skylight in the ceiling, I'm pretty sure even if I had closed off this room, it would look like this anyway. So I'm not that worried about it. And then this build in particular, I was struggling really hard with trying to find wallpapers to use because I really wanted to use more from the new pack, but some of the textures on the ones that I had been pulling out weren't working for me, so I ended up going with this stone one, and I think it looks really good. Like, this is probably my favorite room of the whole house, this area that I do over here. And so I'm really happy that I ended up making that change, and then also changing the flooring there to be less warm, because I think that the warm wood was kind of just throwing me off. And then here I'm going through just placing the rest of the wood, or the rest of the flooring in the house, and then also doing some of the wallpapers as well. I was having an issue with this front room here because I think it's because of the foundation issue, but it was kind of registering this whole area just as one room, even though technically this is sectioned off. So it was forcing me to, if I was using the shift key for, easier room filling, it was making me fill the whole room. So I had to go through and do each wall individually, which isn't that big of a deal. I'm just so used to doing the shift key that I was having an issue, getting to all sides of the walls. And then the upstairs was much easier because the upstairs had no weird foundation issues or wall issues, so I was able to use the shift key. But I didn't use any of the new wallpapers in this upstairs area. I'd really like to use a whole bunch of kids decorations on the walls, so I didn't want to do anything too textured on the walls of the kids' rooms, because I really like all the posters and stuff we have in the game and all the kids wall decorations and everything, so I wanted to make sure I could fill up the space with those. And then here I'm just placing the sliding back door for the patio area I plan on doing out there. And then I go right into the kitchen, I believe. Oh, no, so I end up coming back out here, and I changed the staircase. So I was originally going to use this staircase, and then I kind of left my game for a little bit, and then I came back to it, and I realized that I didn't like all the empty space under the staircase. I just didn't know what I was going to put there. I didn't know how it was going to work. So I end up using this staircase here instead, and then I build a room as kind of like a guest bathroom. It's very small and it only has a sink and a toilet in it, but for like realistic purposes, you would have a separate bathroom so that your guests didn't have to go upstairs or through someone else's room. So I was really happy that I was able to get something like that in here. And then I'm moving on to the outside, and I'm just decorating this front porch area. I just do a simple white fabricated bench that we get from the debug menu of this pack, and then one of the new plants. And then I also place an outdoor light on the wall, and then a hanging plant as well. And then in here on the interior of the the entryway, I wanted to put some plants there, and then I decided I was going to do a table instead. So I start by placing this rug, and then I go in to try and find the table that I'm going to use, but I come across these lamps, so I decided to take a break and figure out these lamps because I didn't know what I was going to put in that corner. I didn't want to do another plant, so I wanted to make sure I used one of the new lamps that we got. And then here I am pulling out the new table from the pack, and I decorate this how I usually do my entryways. Like, there's a couple of plants and a couple of just like basic clutter items like cards and lights. And I really want to find a build to use those new floor lights that we got with this pack. They're like hexagons, but they're huge, and I don't know what I would put them on. Like, I almost want to do them like on a pool area, like surrounding the pool or even maybe in the pool. But I also then don't know if they would interfere with your Sims swimming if they're inside of the pool, because they are really big. So I'm going to play with those a little bit later in one of my other builds. And then here you see I just placed the umbrella rack and the seasons like cooling and heating. Now, I don't know if your Sims actually need this in Evergreen Harbor. My Sim has not once gotten cold inside or gotten too hot in the summer either. And that's really odd for me because usually my Sims, like, the temperature really messes with my Sims in my games. So I don't know. I know that we have these new lot traits, one of which does make it, like, your lot a natural, like, thermal area, which keeps it warm. But even with that lot trait, my Sims don't need the air conditioning. So I don't know if it's just this world or maybe it is something to do with that lot trait that keeps it cool as well. But I thought that was really cool. And then here you see I'm doing the kitchen, so I do move that window over here so that way it can still sit above the sink as I had initially intended. And then I go in and I grab some base game shelves. Because this is a more modern build, I wanted the kitchen to be open and not have a whole bunch of cabinets cluttering the place. So I do 3 shelves lining the window, and then I end up moving these to be corner shelves, kind of like off to the side here, and I line them up. I think I do a pretty good job at lining them up, but it's hard with these shelves because you can see like the breaks in the lines from the hardware that's attached to them, which is why I almost use my custom content shelves. But I'm trying not to use a lot of custom content in my builds because I know a lot of people don't use it, and I want to make sure that my builds are accessible. So I will always make sure I tell you guys if I use custom content unless I forget and I don't see me place it in there. And I will always link whatever artist I use down below just so you guys can get it too if you would like. And then if I decide to do like a build that's like all custom content, obviously I will let you guys know and mark it so in the gallery. But here I am just grabbing some items out to clutter up the shelves. I was really happy with using the higher wall height with this build because I tried to do this once before, you all saw me, and the plant like glitched through the ceiling because it was too tall for the short wall height. So when I had the medium wall height on, I was like, yes, I can finally put a plant on one of the top shelves. Because the plants that we got with this pack are really tall, they're really big, but they're gorgeous. And I'm really happy about these, and then I'm also really happy about the ones that we're going to be getting with the nifty knitting pack that will be out later this year. I was one of those people that when we were given the option of voting for hanging plants, I voted for all of the hanging plants because I really wanted hanging plants in the game, and I thought that they were so cute. So I'm really happy about those because I think a lot of them ended up in the winning vote. And then here I am just finishing cluttering up some of the counters. I grabbed some of these candles out and I do like a little candle cluster over in the corner, and then I do decide to go in and grab some of the debug glasses from this pack. Now I don't know if these spoil because I haven't played with them yet, but they're basically the glasses from the juices that we can make, and I just line them up on the shelves to make it look like these are the glasses that the family uses and these are the dishes that the family uses. And I thought that that looked really cool. And then here I am doing the living room. And again, I pull out, this is probably my new favorite couch. I just like all the colors that it comes in, and I like the wooden details. It's a couch that I would love to have in real life, so I pull out this couch and I do the gray color to kind of match the black theme that we have going on, and then I pair it with the chair version, but with the, I think it's called houndstooth dye. And I think that that looks really good because it pulls the whites in, but it also, it has all the grays in it as well. And then I'm just trying to figure out the rug. I end up going with the fabricated rug because I really like this rug because I like how cool of a shape it is, and I think it just plays off all the straight lines of this build and kind of makes it a bit more funky. And then here I am, I end up moving the door over, which I was really happy about because that kept me from having to find a wall decoration to put on that space. And then I give them a family dining area back here. It's not a large dining table, but you could of course always move it if like you have guests over and just add some more tables on it, or keep a larger table in your inventory to add if you need it for your gameplay. But I thought that it looked so cute in this little corner over here. And then here I am placing pictures from Movie Hangout, and then in this corner over here I end up getting some speakers. I think I used the ones from Moschino, the amp looking ones, yeah. I was so happy the day that they made those speakers, because when we first got the Moschino pack, I thought that they were, and then they didn't do anything. They were just decoration, and they didn't even really fit with the whole photography theme either, because you don't really need amps for photography. So I really had no idea why we got those with that pack, besides the fact that they looked cool. So I was so happy when we got the update that those were now speakers. And then here I am cluttering up the parents' dresser. Now, I end up going with the Seasons mirror for this, which I absolutely love this mirror. It's my favorite mirror in the game, but for some reason, and I've never noticed it before, so I don't know if it's new or like if it happened in like a patch, but the mirror sits so high above the dressers in the game. Like there's a decent amount of space in between the bottom of the mirror and where the dresser ends, and it happens with all of the mirrors. It's not just the ones from this pack. And it bothers me so much that I haven't been using the mirror, but it looked so well, like the style of the mirror looked so well with the style I was going for this house, so I decided just to leave it. And then here I'm placing some more windows around, and you can see here I definitely forgot to put curtains on all of these. I usually do, so I end up going back down later and like real quickly placing curtains all over the place, just to make sure everything looked cohesive. And then here I'm doing the master bathroom. I use all the bathroom stuff that we got with this pack, except for the sink. I used that in one of the other bathrooms though, because I wanted to give them some counter space for some clutter. And then I also give them the Seasons shower. Now you'll see me go through here and try and figure out if the Seasons shower is the best one, you know, eco-wise, because they do have, all the showers have eco or water consumption ratings, so I wanted to make sure that the water consumption rating wasn't too high. I think that that's the way it works. If I'm wrong and you need a higher one, let me know, but I'm pretty sure you need a lower one for it to be more eco-friendly. And I also really liked how the glass went with the modern theme of the build, so I was really happy I was able to use that one. And then in this bathroom, like I said, I just get the sink and the toilet, and then I think a plant decoration. For gameplay purposes, that is solely basically just decorative, because you don't really need that one because you have two fully functional bathrooms. So I think you just kind of, that's just there for more realistic purposes and realistic aspects of the build. And then here I'm going and I'm doing the other bathroom. Now this one I throw a couple pops of color in, particularly blue, because since it was the kids bathroom, I always like to change up the kids bathroom a little bit to make it look like kids do use it. Because I know kids, they want like decorative things, they want colorful things, and they're also a bit more messy. Now I don't put a lot of clutter in this bathroom in particular, because I wanted to try and keep things down to a minimum, because I'm sure you can tell with this build in particular, my computer's lagging a lot, and I end up cutting out a huge chunk of this video just because there was a pop-up that kept coming up on my screen, and I shut down the game and restarted it, and I realized that there was an app running in the background that I thought I had shut down, which is so weird for Mac computers, because Macs, once you hit quit, it's supposed to shut down everything, but Google Chrome keeps like popping up on my screen and like asking me to do things with it even though it's quit and I haven't opened it literally in probably like a week. So I'm not really sure why it keeps doing that, but it does, and that's why I was having such an issue with lag on this video, so I do apologize. But here you see, that's where I talked about I was just going through and adding all the curtains that I had forgotten to add earlier. And then this is going to be the teenagers' room. Now, I decided I wanted to do a space theme. That wasn't initially what I was going to do. I was just going to make it blue and white, but then I come across these posters in the wall decorations category, and one of them was for the Bot Savants Club from university, and I thought that the blue and the yellow looked really nice with like the room I was building here, so I end up changing things up a little bit, and I give her the robot head that we got as a clutter item in base game, this one right here. And I don't use that object a lot because I don't really do a lot of space themed or robot themed rooms. So I thought it was really cool that I got to use that object here. And then I give her a desk area, and I was trying, you'll see me go through and try and fit some of them. I was trying to give her either the fabricator or the, what's it called, the robot machine from university, but none of them would fit. They're all really big objects, so I do end up just giving her a computer, and I figured she could be a programmer or a gamer that's maybe saving up for a bigger computer or saving up for a robotics table. But this is where I said that you can see me trying to make these things fit. I even tried to shrink the robotics to see if I can get it to work, but I wasn't sure if the sim would be able to use it at that point. And then I tried to give her a gaming mat, but everything just seemed too big to put in this corner, so I end up doing this bookshelf for a little bit, and then after I put all the decorations on it, I go into the debug menu to try and find some more items to use, and I end up finding that TV from the Eco Lifestyle pack, so I change up my direction and I give her the TV. Now, as I've said in one of my videos before, none of the tables from the Eco Lifestyle pack actually hold the TV. You have to use one of the coffee tables if you're going to do that. So I do give them the Tiny Living TV, or the Tiny Living table, and then I also give them that Tiny Living poof. And it works, the Tiny Living poof works as a table, it's not a chair. And I end up not putting anything on there to begin with because it was more for decoration, but I go back into her room and I give her some of the science projects from the Parenthood pack, and I give her the robot one and then the electricity one, and I put some of those on that poof. You'll see me do that when I go into the menu to decorate this kid's room. And then this kid's room is a twins bedroom. I figured that these girls were a bit more artistic, a bit more creative, not as sciencey as their older sister or older brother. And so I gave them these new beds that we got with the pack, and then I also gave them the new cardboard dollhouse, which I think is absolutely adorable. I think that's such a cute addition. I've been wanting them to give us some new dollhouses because some of them just don't fit with a lot of styles, and I don't necessarily think that this fits with a modern style either, but I think that it fits. So it doesn't necessarily fit with this house, but it fits with the pack really well, and I haven't gotten to use it yet, so I wanted to make sure I got it into this build. And then I also used the new drawing table that the kids got as well, and I was a little shocked that they gave us a new drawing table because we have so many of those. So a part of me was like, I don't really know why we were given another one, but it's still a cool design. Like, they made it look different than the others. I mean, it still has the same shape, but it's a little bit, you know, more sleek, a little bit more modern, a little smaller, so I do like the way that this one looks. And then here you see I'm trying to decorate the walls, and I just place a whole bunch of posters around. I end up changing these though because I find that it's kind of, I guess it's kind of like a mini corkboard for children's art. I'm not really sure. It's this item here. You see me pull it out, and it's like you can like hang kids' artwork from it, and I think it just looked so cute hanging above the drawing table that I placed there. And then this, you see, I end up having to move the dresser down because the bed was blocking the door, and I knew the sim wouldn't be able to get in through there, so I wanted to move the door down a little bit. So I do move the dresser and the backpack so that way the door can fit, and then I just place the kids what's it called, toy box over there in that corner. And then I wanted to put some decorations on this wall. So I really quickly grab out some of the stuff from Parenthood, some of the kids' trophies, and then I also go back and grab these alien, you don't see me do it in the video, but I grabbed the alien swatch of those skateboards, and I just place them above the bed in the teenager's room. And then here we are to the outside. I was initially going to fence in the outside. You'll see me try and use the fence that we got with this pack, but I didn't like how it looked with the build, so I end up just fencing in one side. But here I am pulling out the new lawn chairs that we got with this pack, and I haven't gotten to use those yet, so I was really happy that I was able to use them here. And then I'm also giving them some of the eco items, the water or the dew collector and the wind turbines. And the roofing is their solar panels, so I didn't have to place any of those on the ground. And then here, I stopped on that because I didn't know what that big object was. It's just another one of the water collectors. It's basically like the best version of it that you could get. And then I give them the bugs, the Mighty Mite homes, so that they could, keep insects and, do like all the eco things that come with this pack. And then I just throw a couple of their wall decorations around. I wanted it to be very lush and very green, but in the modern way that the rest of the house is. And that bird box that I used isn't really modern, but I really like that object, so I wanted to make sure I could use it. And then this is where I messed with the fence. I decided that I didn't like how tall the fence was, like blocking the patio area. So I put a grill here, and then I do end up placing some hedges, the same ones I use in the front of the house. I use those to fence in the area, and I think it looks a lot better because I think it kind of fits more with the whole like living green, living eco. You have like more plants than like built objects, I guess. And then I was going to try and use some string lights because I really like putting string lights on patios, but I couldn't get them to fit. The size of the patio just wasn't right for any of the string lights, so I do end up kind of giving up on it because I tried around for it, or I try to get it to work for a little bit, and I just can't get it to work. This is where I pull out those hedges I was talking about to line the outdoor area, and then that is pretty much it for this build. I hope you all enjoyed this one, and I hope you all stick around for the next one, so I'll see you all then. Bye!